everybody, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Round Rabbit podcast. My name is Nancy, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Round Rabbit. So today is Thursday, I think it's the 6th of October, 2016, I believe. I think that's correct. This week has been, typical crazy week. I don't know. I could go into immense detail, but I won't. Bottom line is that I am in the process of kind of moving. I say kind of just because this house that you see here is for sale and no one has purchased it. So I don't need to vacate exactly, but I am going to be moving, making my primary residence the house that we are building on Seneca Lake, about an hour away from here. And it is definitely not finished. I like to think of it as glamping. I'm gonna be glamping in my new home. It's definitely not an ideal situation. However, I need to be there and not here. So this past week I've been kind of packing up the things that I think are most important to have with me at all times. So of course that means yarn. The yarn stash is kind of the first thing that's going into the new house. So I've just been going through things and going through books, and I have a little bit of a book situation in that I have probably thousands of books. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Actually, in this house, I have an actual library. This is a huge Victorian house with many places to hide things. And while that has been wonderful, it has also enabled me to collect stupid amounts of stuff. And I'm a big fan of stuff. So, I really rose to the occasion when I bought this house and did my best to make it feel like it was really being used. But now it's coming back to haunt me because the house that we are building is much smaller, and I need to go through things. So before I get into that, which I kind of already have, but whatever, I'm gonna tell you what I'm drinking. So today I'm drinking beer. Ha ha! No more wine. Wine's for chumps. No, it's not actually, but I'm drinking beer today, and I'm really happy to be doing so. I am drinking beer from Two Goats Brewing. Yay! Which way? That way. Two Goats Brewing in Hector, New York, which is where I live most of the time. It's just one of my favorite places ever. There are actually 3 craft breweries in our little town of Hector. I use the word town loosely because there isn't actually a town per se. I mean, there's a gas station and a church, and that is considered downtown. But other than that, it is entirely an agricultural area, a grape growing and fruit tree growing place, and all the businesses are either wineries, breweries, or distilleries. So we have a lot of fun in Hector. Lots of fun. And Two Goats Brewing was the first brewery to pop up I'm going to say close to 6 years ago. Sorry, John, if I got that wrong, but I think it's in that neighborhood. Might be coming up on 6, I think. Anyway, it's a wonderful place, and they are wonderful people, some of our closest friends. We love it so much that Scott and I actually got married there 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. They have a deck that overlooks Seneca Lake that is just about the best view going, and we got married at sunset there. It was closed, it wasn't like we were, pushing people out of the way to get married on the deck. That would have been kind of funny. But Yeah. Anyway, Two Goats Brewing. It's a definite. You just gotta experience it. So if you're ever gonna come to the Finger Lakes in New York State, first of all, let me know because I would love to show you around. But second of all, go to Two Goats Brewing because you will freaking love it. That's all there is to it. I'm drinking their lager. This is called the Hector Lager. Look at, I even have one of their glasses. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Sure you can. Sure you can. All right, I'm off to a fabulous start. Okay, now I'm getting into the groove here. My friend Taylor wanted to know what I'm always looking down at, and that would be notes. Handwritten, no iPads here for me, no fancy kind of stuff. I still remember how to write with a pen, kind of. I can hardly read what I write, but anyway, I was talking about moving and kind of getting things organized and just, when you like things as much as I do and you've amassed so many things, moving is a nightmare. And I never thought I would be moving from this house. When I purchased this house, it's been about 20 years now. I had no intention of ever leaving it. And I never thought the day would come when I would want to leave it. And it's not that I want to leave it, but my heart is in another place. And we had an opportunity to build a home. My grandfather was an architect, and we're building one of his designs, which is just an incredible thing. I never thought I would be able to do, but we're doing it very slowly, but we are doing it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I've been going through like millions of books, and the space that I'm moving into right now is incredibly limited. The only livable part of our new house is the basement level, which is it's a dug out basement, so it's not like we're in a dungeon. There are windows and doors and whatnot. But it's not, I can only bring so much right now. So the room that is my office, kind of yarn room, I've put a lot of bookcases in, and I'm trying to select just the things that I think I will need. The truth is that, when you have thousands of books, that means there are thousands of books that you haven't looked at in years. And this is what has come over me when I'm going through these things, is that, it might be time to just kind of let some of these things go and realize that my life will not end if I part with some books. They've been a little bit of a kind of a security blanket over the years. It's just a very comforting thing to know that you have a lot of books. I don't know why. I have no idea why that is. But they're like these precious things that you don't want to part with. I am really rambling here. I'm so sorry. I hope you're hanging in there. But anyway, going through things, I'm finding some really funny books. And of course, the first books I want to move are all my knitting and crafting books. I'm also moving all my plant and gardening books. I haven't really talked about my complete and total obsession with houseplants before. It'll happen. It's going to happen in the future because there's just no avoiding it. So I've got those packed up. But I found a couple of really funny things that I thought I would show you. This is like my favorite thing ever. I found this little, it's kind of a pattern. I guess it's a pattern card, something you would pick up, in a yarn store or fabric store. It's from 1973, I think. Yeah, 73. I was 1 year old when this fabulous piece of amazingness came out. Anyway, without further ado, this is a pattern card that has patterns for crocheted bags. And it's called It's in the Bag. And the best part about this is that is the animals that have been placed into said bags. So we have a bunny and a dove and another bunny and a kitty. It's even better on the back. Look at this. Chicken in a bag, because that's normal. There's a guinea pig, more chickens. I don't know, there's kind of a glare situation happening here. My lighting is not good, and I hope this isn't as grainy as I think it's gonna be, because it is really dark right now. And I'm relying on my camera to kind of lighten it. I don't know how good that's gonna look. Anyway, how funny is this? Chickens in a crocheted bag. I just think this is the best thing ever. I love it. And I love on the inside, it actually tells you it's photographed. Photos were taken on the Long Island Game Farm. And my whole family is from Long Island, so, shout out to Long Island. Just funny. Funny. Look at that. Bunny in a bag. My bunnies would not be happy if I put them in a crochet bag. They're not really portable bunnies, my bunnies. People have asked a lot of questions about my rabbits, and I will definitely show them at some point. Whenever I film this, they are usually napping. It is nap time for bunnies right now. But I've had house rabbits for going on about 25 years, which is crazy when I think about that. It's just flown right by. And I've always had them in the house. They have always been completely cage free, which is not something that everybody can do. And I actually don't, when people come to me for advice on saying they want to get a house rabbit, what should I do, blah, blah, blah. I don't recommend it to too many people. Bunnies are pretty specialized little animals, and you have to really you gotta be a pretty low-key, mellow kind of person to let your bunny run free. That is just the best sentence I've said in a long time. Oh my gosh. But yeah, you've gotta not care if they're gonna nibble on something. You've got to make sure you have wires and things out of the way. They are gonna be messy. It's gonna happen. I mean, mine do occasionally think about using a litter box. The two I have right now are definitely not my cleanest bunnies that I've ever had. I have two girls right now, which is kind of a bad combination. I've had rabbits in the past that were meticulous and loved their litter boxes. So yeah, you can't, you're living in their environment is the way I look at it. And if you're not up to that, if you think you're gonna make them behave the way you want them to, then bunnies just are not for you, because they call the shots. And they should call the shots, because they're bunnies, for crying out loud. Anyway, I haven't even gotten into yarn yet, and I'm blaming this entirely on this Two Goats beer. Chuck, who is one of the beer tenders who works at Two Goats, told me that when I drink beer, I get really, really chatty. And I think I'm gonna have to agree. So why not drink some more? Okay. Yeah. Oh, something else that I found. This is a really fun book. So I actually bought this at the Hector Fair. The local library has a phenomenal book tent. Although actually this year it wasn't that phenomenal, because some stinking book dealer showed up wicked early and just bought out everything. And that just pissed me off like you wouldn't believe. Because for weeks leading up into the fair, I do prep to get into that book tent and just, go to town. And it was such a letdown. So, this is the only book I bought, I think. I might have bought a few others, but anyway, this is the new revised edition of Sewing Made Easy. Oh, the glare is so bad today. Can you see that? There we go. Sewing Made Easy. This is from, what year is this? I think it's got to be the early 60s, maybe. Where is it? I don't know. anyway, I'm going to guess, that looks like Jackie O kind of thing. So I'm going to say early 60s, 63-ish maybe. This is a really great book for every possible, it's got drawings in it. Everything you could ever want to know about sewing, especially garment sewing. It is fantastic. I've learned a lot from this, actually. And then the best part is that I found this little note inside the book, which I love. That is just like bonus to me when I buy an old book and I find a note. This note actually has nothing to do with this book, but it says, I found Tale of Two Cities. Now you can read it and stop complaining to me about how much you want the book. There is Oliver Twist too, in case you feel the need to read about an orphan. Enjoy, Hillary. Tons of XOs on the bottom. So funny. Yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I love that. So anyway, great little finds as I'm going through my books and trying to figure out what's coming with me right now and what isn't. These two things, of course, are totally coming with me because I feel they are crucial to my quality of life, right? Definitely. One book that's not coming with me is this book. And, what can I say about this book? I'm sure many of you have heard about this book. It is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing. Yeah, not for me. I bought this book having rather high hopes that it was gonna transform me into a very tidy person. I thought the Japanese know these things. They know how to live simply and aesthetically pleasingly. and surely the secrets of all of this will be in this book. I did not get very far. In fact, my bookmark is still in here. Page 57. There it is, right there. Tidying is a dialogue with oneself. So, yeah, I don't want to have that dialogue with myself. I really don't. The basic premise of this book is that you are to go through all your belongings and you need to hold each one, and if that belonging brings you what they call a spark of joy, then you keep it. And if there's no spark of joy, then out the door it goes. Well, as it turns out, everything I own brings me a spark of joy. And I'm not kidding you. The only thing in my possession that brings no spark of joy is this book. So if anybody wants this book, I'm not going to judge you. Just, leave a comment below and say, I would love that book. I'm even going to leave my little my little copper bookmark in there for you. Please, somebody take this off my hands and rid me of this, because this is bringing me no spark of joy. Yeah, it's got to go. All right. I've been rambling now. Oh, geez. Friggin' 18 minutes. And I haven't even talked about yarn yet. Are you still there? Did you hang in? All right, let's see. I can report that I, once again, have another sleeve in my life. I have two sleeves for my Esk sweater. So, one sleeve. Ta-da! How do I do this? Two sleeves. They're not actually gonna look like that. I mean, well, kinda. So, I have two sleeves done, and I'm still loving this yarn. Look at that. Look at those colors. I love those colors. This yarn is still a big old pain in the tuchus. It breaks constantly. And by constantly, I mean constantly. But it's just what it is. what can I say? It's beautiful when it's done. It blocks beautifully. I love the fleckies in it that comes from the silk content in the yarn. It's a wool silk blend. It is rewarding, and I feel like I'm earning it, every time it breaks. It breaks a lot. It's really, yeah. I just keep my little needle felting pad nearby, and I'm constantly repairing it. So I have started the body, which is not going to look like much on here. So here it is, ta-da. And it's the thing about this is that so this is the back piece that I'm working on. And it's knit sideways. So this is actually right here this part is actually the hem. This is the bottom part of the sweater. So the stripes will be going vertically in that. And I was a little concerned about how the stripes were going to work out since this is a different, it's a different width. So the sleeves are a certain width, and the stripes are going to be a certain width. And the body is bigger, and I thought maybe it would stretch things out a little bit, but so far it actually looks basically the same, and I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm a little concerned at the size of this. It's really hard to tell right now on a loom. That's the real bummer side of loom knitting, is that very hard to measure, very hard to envision, especially when I'm knitting sideways, how it's going to work. So I'm going to have to get pretty far into it before I can really make sure that I'm on the right track. The directions in the pattern, it's a pattern by Martin Story, which can be found in the Rowan book, Easy Erin Knits. The directions, I think, are not quite right, and because it is a very simple pattern, I have been able to pretty much figure it out, but it makes me think that there was no tech editing happening in this, or whoever did it doesn't really know about knitting or didn't actually knit the piece, because the way you knit the back, it's like you're doing the first half, and then the second half is a mirror image of the first half. So those directions should then be in reverse from the first half, but they're not. They actually tell you kind of to start over again, and it just wouldn't work. So I think, whatever. I'm on top of these things. So hopefully I can get that back piece done. I don't know. It'd be nice if I got it done in the next week. Once again, Rhinebeck is coming up. Is that going to be done for Rhinebeck? I am not going to count on that, and I'm not going to care if it is. Somebody left a fantastic comment last week about, I joke about having my Rhinebeck sleeves, and their idea was to sew the sleeves together into a tube top. A Rhinebeck tube top, which I could totally do that. I've got several sets of sleeves at this point, and but I think a Rhinebeck tube top really has to be paired with Rhinebeck hot pants. And I'm pretty sure that Stephen West probably has a pair of those. So I don't know. It might be kind of warm this time. I'm not sure. That can change, but yeah. Tube top and hot pants. Oh yeah, you won't be able to miss me. Alrighty, let's see here. Where am I? Okay, so as I told you earlier, I'm getting my yarn stash prepared to move into the new house, and it's a big job. Actually, it's not. It's not like I have rooms full. It's not like my book collection. I don't have thousands of skeins. I have a lovely stash. And there is some yarn that I purchased several years ago that, how do I put this? It smells really bad. At first I thought it was a sheepy smell, and then I realized that it is a sheepy smell, but it is also there's another smell happening here. There's layers of smells going on. And I think at first I thought it might be like a spinning oil machinery kind of situation. Then I thought maybe it's the dye. Maybe the dye is what smells. So this yarn comes from Turkey. It comes from a company called Ice Yarns. And I don't know if you've heard of Ice Yarns. It's a huge website. They have the largest selection of every possible kind of yarn you can imagine. I mean, and it's a little difficult to navigate because it's in categories and you can do tags. So like if you want all wool, you can find that kind of. You really need to kind of look through things and look at the fiber content and see exactly what you're dealing with. So anyway, a couple of years ago, I was in a bit of an ice yarn phase because it's very inexpensive. You have to buy it usually in a pack of like 4 at least, I think. But if you're looking for a sweater's quantity of yarn, it's a great place to look for yarn. So I had ordered several times from them and was always very pleased with what I got. Then I got the last order. This is quite a while ago. And it's beautiful. I'm thrilled with the colors. But the smell, it reminds me of the episode of Seinfeld when his car smells like BO and nothing will get rid of it. And it's, he compares it, he calls it an entity. That's what's living in this yarn. So I aired it out. I let it sit out for months in an empty room. I bagged it separately from everything, trying to keep it from permeating my other yarns, to no avail. So I decided the best thing to do was to wash it before I bring it to my new house and let it mingle with my other yarns. So that's what I did this week. I took, it came in a ball, and I wound each ball, I had 12 of them, I wound each one into a skein, and then I washed them each twice and dried them. And so I can show you the colors. Let's see here. They vary quite a bit from skein to skein. So here's one of them. And you can see these colors are beautiful. It's a single ply, 100% wool. I love the colors in this. There's, it's like a bright, vivid Caribbean blue and browns and like yellow ochre. Some of them have much more of the golden color. You can see when I compare. So I washed them and then I washed them again, and lots of dye came out of these. The water was green both times. There didn't seem to be an end in sight of the dye coming off of these skeins. But, honestly, I just didn't want to wash them over and over and over again. Not to mention the fact that since they are a single ply, I didn't want to felt them. I used cool water and no agitation. I basically soaked them and just very gently, pushed the water through. But they got a little bit fuzzy. And so I just really didn't want to overwork these. But, so I have to give them a sniff. They're much better than they were. I don't think that this is going to stink up my stash. I don't think. Then again, I might be hard of smelling at this point because I've been sniffing this. I'm just like a yarn sniffer. So I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of this yarn. lots of it. Isn't it pretty though? I mean, look at those colors. I don't know, some people might think this is really hideous, but I quite like it. And I'm anxious to use it actually. I think because it's a single ply, I'm probably gonna do like a nice tight kind of stitch, maybe like a linen stitch, I think would look really pretty. I will definitely be alternating skeins like constantly because of the difference in each one. But I think it's gonna work out. But I don't know. I mean, have any of you ever dealt with smelly yarn before? I don't, what do you do? What do you do with it? All I could think of was to wash it. And I do think it helped. I don't know. We'll see. Watch me smell up our whole new house with this yarn. Scott's going to be real happy about that. Oh, well, what I do for yarn. Alrighty. Yeah, so if you've had an experience with smelly yarn, let me know what you did with it. You make a comment below and tell me how you worked through it. I don't know. All right, let's see here. Stinky yarn. Looking at my notes. Sewing progress this week. I don't have a ton of it. I have about 4 bags in progress, little Notions bags. I'm doing some really pretty fall colors. Basically, these are all essentially the same, just different combinations. This one's got some purple, but yeah, this is what they look like. This is them with just quilting, interfacing on it, and I haven't quilted. I think I started one. Yeah, this one's got some quilting on it. But I should have these done hopefully by tomorrow, which is Friday. If this video actually goes up in a timely fashion, I do not have any good luck uploading these videos. I get my editing done pretty quick, and then I start to upload it, and it cancels it at some point, and then I do it again. And it takes at least 12 hours for this to go up, and I don't know. I'm sure it's my internet connection here, so I'm hoping the new house will be better, but we shall see. So anyway, I am going to try to finish those bags up and have them in the shop at some point tomorrow. If you follow me on Instagram, Round Rabbit on Instagram, I will definitely post some pictures of them. I think they're going to be really pretty. Yeah, so do that. Okay, I think I'm at the end here, and we're only at 32 minutes. What can I talk about for, 10 more minutes? Maybe I should just chug this beer and see what happens. It would be kind of funny though, wouldn't it? No, I won't do it. I am going to mention a couple podcasts that I really enjoy this week. I don't think I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. I want to say thank you to my friend Lorelei, the Knits and Beads podcast, and my friend David of the Dog Dare podcast for giving me lovely little shout outs on their last episodes. If you happen to be a podcaster and you give me a little shout out in your podcast, please let me know, because I want to thank you. I think that is the least I can do if somebody is kind enough to mention me as a new podcast. The only way that anyone's ever going to discover me is usually word of mouth. So I would, it's great that we can network in this way. I remember years ago when I was first really creating an online presence with my ceramics business, blogging was the thing to do. And a big way of getting your blog around was to give shout outs to other blogs and link to other blogs. And I really kind of look at podcasting as the same type of thing these days. It's just, you're listening to me instead of reading me. So yeah, if you are kind enough to mention me, please let me know. And, I shoot me a message like on Instagram. I don't really trust Instagram tagging. I know that I have missed a few times when people have tagged me and I just didn't even know about it. and I apologize for that. So yeah, let me know, and I would love to thank you for that. So having said all that, I'm going to mention 2 podcasts that I totally enjoy. The first one is The Spicy Homemaker with Melissa. I'm sure you've watched Melissa, maybe, if you're a podcast person. She is just so much fun, and I am really drawn to people who are just themselves and aren't scripted. There's not, how do I put this? You just get the sense that Melissa is very much who you see in front of you. And if you were to just pop in at her house, which, don't worry, I won't pop in. I hate the pop in. But you just feel like you would totally sit down with her and have a cup of coffee, and she would be exactly the same way she is on her podcast. And I love that. I love that. So here's to Melissa. Check her out, The Spicy Homemaker. My second podcast is one that I found, I think I first saw her on Instagram. Her podcast is called Disastrously Domestic, and I believe her name is Jessica. Oh my gosh. Just stop right now and go watch Wrong name. Okay, Jessica, it's really hard to say your podcast name. Disastrously Domestic. I love this girl and her ever-changing hair. She is too much fun. And her Instagram feed is really a lot of fun too. She has a killer sense of humor and a really great style. Again, another person that's just real, and there's nothing fake going on. I love it. I love watching her. So check out Jessica and Disastrously Domestic. I got it. Yay. So I'm at 37 minutes. Woohoo. I think that's it. Gosh, I feel like I, once again, have no idea what I talked about. It always seems much worse when I'm filming these. Like in my head, there's a voice saying, "This is horrible. You need to abort, danger, Will Robinson." That's just how I'm feeling right now. And then when I play it back, when I edit, it's a little less painful, but not much. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it gets easier. It's kind of just, I don't know. It's awkward and strange and weird, but I hope you enjoy it. And you can follow me on Instagram as Round Rabbit. I'm also on Ravelry as Round Rabbit, though I'm not super active on Ravelry. I rarely actually check things out there. I will try to be a little better. I know some people have tried to contact me through Ravelry, and I don't see it for quite a while, so I apologize for that. I will try to be better. So yeah, that's it for today. I can't really think of anything else to say. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but well, there's always next week. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.